It's Short King Summer, dude. It just feels like no one in fantasy sports ever learns anything. Does he mistime it, or is Brock Bowers just a grown man? Brock Bowers is just a grown man. Dare I say, Rich, football might be back. In the words of Lane Johnson, this offense looks constipated. It's Short King Summer. All right, beautiful. The intro video did work. Everyone, welcome in to the Week 7 unabated Underdog Pick Em show. Davis Mattek joined by Andy Molitor at AndyMSFW from BetSperts. Andy, very excited for you to join me today as we fire a bunch of Pick Em entries here on the program.
I'm 5'8". I qualify. Short King Summer. I can live with that.
Correct. Although you are grandfathered in
anymore, man. It suddenly got cold out. It is like, oh man, I had to put socks on for like the first time since a wedding I went to this summer. So it is fall, and yeah, it's like week 7. It's gotten so late so quick. Good teams are bad teams are good. Everyone's injured, but it was some fun.
Yeah, everyone is injured. There are a bunch of good games this week, which is going to make it fun for us right here because we get to take a bunch of hires, which is really nice. So I did get a couple requests last week. People are like, they want to fact check me. So they want to go back and go look at some of the entries from last week, to which normally I would say, I don't know about that, but last week was pretty good. Last week is pretty good. We were pretty hot fire. So this one, I called this my gold star lock entry. May to get a passing touchdown, Pollard to score a rushing touchdown, and by the hair of his chinny chin, Devonta Smith hit his receiving higher, 63.5. So I put $50 on that one. Normally I just do 10 on this show. So that one was good. This one was an 8-legger. The only thing that missed was Terry McLaurin higher, longest reception. So that is a bit annoying. I don't remember what this was a bunch of alt over, so I must have done this one on my phone. You ever do those where you do if you have it on your phone, you can scale it all the way up? I do really enjoy those.
It's like, oh, this is like 25,000 to 1. This is easy.
This was the most annoying one. 7 out of 8 on a profit boosted entry for a bunch of I'm at Pick Em Champions. Do you have Pick Em Champions or do you have regular?
I don't even know, man. I probably regular. What's Pick Em Champions?
So Pick Em Champions is what you have to do if you're in like Kansas, Illinois, and a couple other states. So it's basically you do your DFS Pick Em entry against what it is every pool, I believe, is $50,000. So you get put into a $50,000 pool, and the percentage of that $50,000 that you win is based on how well everyone else does.
What are your rules around, like, you can play normal DFS like DraftKings and stuff, or do you have to hop states?
Yeah, so in Missouri, I can play best ball, I can play seasonal fantasy, I can play DraftKings, I can play FanDuel, but if I want to go, like, let's say like FanDuel has a crazy good price on like a golf outright or whatever, I got to drive about 15 minutes over the border to Illinois.
It is, yeah, it's so dumb with the rules. And even like, Minnesota's very DFS positive, I guess. There's nothing, I haven't run into a product I've been blocked on up here.
No, you guys
dangerously close to Iowa, where sometimes my phone pings the wrong tower. It's
yep.
Like, are you sure you're in Minnesota? Like,
yep.
Yeah, like this, I'm at my house. Like, I got to get on the computer. It does suck when I end up a little too close to the border. I think I should just have normal. I think I have normal Underdog.
Yeah, I think that normally if you live in a state with very few gambling restrictions, you have the normal. This one was 7 out of 8. You know what was tilting about this one? DJ Moore scored a fucking touchdown, and they called it off. DJ Moore scored a touchdown, and then they ruled it out on the 1-inch yard line. So that was a 7 out of 8 lost. This one was 6 out of 8. Jalen Polk and CeeDee Lamb did not score a touchdown. So that was 6 out of 8. And there was one that I did that was all lowers. I don't remember this one right here. And of course the all lowers one. Why would you ever do all lowers? I let the chat talk me into that, Andy. That was a very bad idea. All lowers, that's not what we're about here. That's not what I do.
I had got the most annoying one I had recently was, and this was, I went a little heavier on this. I needed Godwin to have 8 catches in that Tampa Bay game. I really just thought he was going to get volume.
See, that's just unjust because he scored 1 billion fantasy points. That's just
No.
unjust.
He had 5 for like a lot and 1 or 2 scores, but that was like Baker first half yardage, which was a big plus because it was like 124 in the first half, and then it was Kyle Pitts, which I guess I could have gone all on Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts was like 2.5 in that game. Like he had 6 or 7 or something ridiculous. Could have been even more heartbreaking if those two had been jacked up a little.
Correct. Yeah. That is just running bad. Here's the deal about all lowers being good for champions. Yes, theoretically, because it functions in a pari-mutuel way.
Yeah.
Is that what you want to be doing? You want to be earthworming your way on all lower entries? Me personally, no thank you. No thank you.
I think there's some angle shots to be taken there. And guys, you think like this week is probably a fun one for you could round robin some really low alts on like Giants running backs and Tampa Bay running backs, because it's both going to be like, hey, we're going to kind of mix it up and go with who's got the hot hand, and this guy's going to get some touches and this guy's going to get some touches, and it's going to be it could be a shit show on either one of those games, and you can just kind of round robin unders, mixing and matching some of those running backs, and if it ends up being like, hey, Rachaad White gets like 1 carry and he just doesn't get back in the game because the other guys are toting it. And
here we go.
Same kind of, the same kind of thing in New York where it's like, hey, we're definitely going to put Singletary in there, but we're monitoring his injuries. Like those are the unders that you want, where this is coming in, no doubt, because suddenly it just turns into nothing but Tracy because Singletary, he just doesn't have that burst. They're like, fuck, we made a mistake. We shouldn't have put him out there.
Well, so that just in general, what you just said is very good advice in general, where if you have reason to believe that a line could be off because of playing time for running backs,
yeah,
a lot of the times those won't get adjusted. Like last night on the Thursday night game, Audric Estime's, if you scaled him up to 19.5 rushing yards, that was like 1.98x or whatever, which was now... Obviously, I did even higher than that. I did it up to 39.5 rushing yards because that is the type of person I am. But I thought there was some reason to believe, basically, that there was going to be an in-game benching for Javonte. Turns out that didn't happen. Turns out instead, Javonte Williams basically had the best game of his career. But you win some and you lose some. What can you do? There's really nothing.
A lot of people win on S. And honestly, if it weren't for that fumble, dude, he might have got like 6 more carries on that drive
in garbage time.
That was going to be an estimate drive. That was just a really good rip out, and I mean that was probably the death of some of those bets. I've seen people just straight bets on those over 30, over 40, over 50 kind of things. It was probably good because
losing
scenario,
losing Jamal Williams lower rushing yards in that game, the way that game went. I mean, it's so unjust. Anyways, let's go ahead and begin. I actually am just going to toss in those two. I'm going to toss in Singletary lower rushing touchdown and Rachaad White lower rushing touchdown to the first one. So immediately, the first thing I noticed pulling this up, I use the Blitz projections when I pull up this tool because I love Cardi, because Cardi is just like, brother, I do not care what anyone else has. I am riding to the beat of my own drum. And a lot of the times I disagree with what he's got at the top. I got to say, this actually would be a spot that I think he's probably right about Tyler Huntley, that the market is way too low in this spot. What do you think about that?
We saw, I mean, that was like the ultimate litmus test for Will Levis. Like, hey, here's a garbage fire of a defense. Can you throw for 150 yards? Nope, you can't. You should be benched probably. That said, Tyler Huntley has done it in this league. Like, he's
couple times
he's seen playing time. He's had, he's coming off the rest, more time to prepare. He's gotten more time with this offense now. He has a bunch of weapons. They got to be able to figure out something for this guy to succeed.
Like something. Just something. Can we throw some screen passes to Tyreek Hill? Can we do something? Yeah, I think.
What's your path to like fixing the season at this point? If you're McDaniel, it is, well, we have to get something out of Tyler Huntley against teams we should beat. We're not going to beat this team with our defense. So it's got to be, like you said, screen passes, bubble screens, short stuff to the fast wide receivers. Like he might have like an ADOT of 3 with 250 yards.
Yeah, scrape out a win here. Maybe get to a back next week in week 8. and you're in a terrible division. Like you could get the bottom of the A. Like right now, the Broncos are in the AFC playoff picture. Like they're not dead. They're definitely not dead. So I'm tossing this one in. I'm tossing in Tyler Huntley passing yards higher. I would never take a Drake May lower. Literally never in my life would I take a Drake May lower. Aaron Rodgers 227 passing yards. I would be inclined to say I like the lower there, except if Rodgers really just makes it a point, if they're winning this game, if they're up 10 or whatever, to get Adams catches. What do you think about Aaron Rodgers' lower passing yards?
Oh, man. It feels like he's having a little more say in the offense, but that is a tough defense. And again, one of the last times we saw him 2 weeks back in London, he made some really bad decisions. Like every one of those interceptions, was like fully on Aaron Rodgers.
Fully on him.
I know he blames Williams on the route in last week's. I mean, he hasn't looked all that great. 227. It feels like there might be a game state too. Like, do you see a game state where the offense, whether it be Russell Wilson or Justin Fields, it feels like it's going to be Russell Wilson, where that offense is up by like 2 touchdowns at any point, and Rodgers is dropping back 45 times. It just feels
no
like
shot.
Even if the Jets are losing, it feels like it's going to be in a close game, and they are going to still lean on the run a little, not have to go to hurry up. So I don't hate it. Unders are scary when you're just like, hey, here's an under and a 4-time MVP. It's just
it is. It's so funny. It's being like, yeah, it's like Aaron Rodgers for the entire time of my life has basically done whatever he's wanted on a football field, has made everyone look stupid. But you know what I should do? I should definitely take the lower on him, which I am going to do.
Yeah.
I'm not going to take Nick Chubb lowers because I've been buried by that guy so many times in my life, like no shot.
That's a terrible defense and a bad tackling defense. Like that he could be like 8 carries for 45 yards and with a long of 42.
Yes, 100%. Yeah, I'm not interested. A lot of these at the top, honestly, I go the other way with Derek. Like I think Kyron seems fine. I think Lamar, I wouldn't have an issue there. The next one that I would be interested in would probably be Trevor Lawrence lower passing yards. I guess they're getting Ingram back. They've been over in London again. But, I mean, how many passing yards did Bo Nix get in that win last night? Like, that Sunday morning game could be a real Thursday Night Football-ass game. It really could.
Yeah. And it might be pretty rainy. They're saying like 85% chance of rain. I don't think the wind is going to be super impactful. If you look at the roof of that place, it's like 60% covered. Kind of like how it's 40-mile-an-hour winds in Miami. Doesn't matter. Just it's not getting in. But it could be wet. I don't know. We haven't seen is he Goff-esque? Is it like tiny hands?
Lawrence is bad. Lawrence is bad in weather. Yeah. All right, there we go. That one is an easy sell.
Ooh, Drake May 9.25 hands.
Ooh, not
in
great.
The rain. Boy, this could be an ugly boy.
Yeah,
the London
that's going to be an
games
ugly
have been
game.
Kind of rough.
Yeah, they really have been. All right, here's one I love. Jordan Love, higher passing yards. First off, I love when math backs me up on taking a higher. So this is my read on that Houston-Green Bay game. If something weird happens early, Texans score a long touchdown, Packers score a long touchdown, Stroud throws a pick six, whatever, that game is going to go crazy. It's going to be a red zone spectacular. Now, if the Texans get up 10-0, we're in for a pretty boring game because the Texans just love to fucking run the ball. But I just, God damn, I want the Packers to get up 10-0 and force them to throw. So I'm going to be on a lot of Packers hires. So I think Jordan Love passing yards higher, I'm really in on.
Yeah, that's an over, I bet. Like, I bet the full game over in that. I don't see a scenario where, I mean, they have had some injuries, that defense as well for Houston. And Green Bay was kind of playing with their food for parts of the game against Arizona. They probably could have put up 50 last week.
100%.
They even got a better kicker at this point. So I think they're going to be fine in this one.
All right. Do you have a read on the Chargers-Cardinals game? That's another one They were the Chargers were much more pass heavy last week with like guys getting injured. Like QJ was hurt, Ladd came off the field. They were way more pass heavy, controlling that game than I thought they would be. I'm kind of inclined to take both Herbert and Kyler Murray hires because the Cardinals defense is really brutal.
Yeah, that's a huge like shift in who they've played. So going from the defense they played last time out, which we just saw last night, is a very good defense.
Yeah,
compared to probably a bottom one, bottom two defense in Arizona. Like if they want to get anything going, either through the run or in the air, it feels like it's going to be pretty easy. The only thing I'd worry about is just like what if it ends up being kind of a
scoreline.
Yeah. Well, you talked about that in the Houston game. What if it turns into like it's 17-0 in the second quarter and Arizona's just kind of stuck in mud? Then they run. Like you're really banking on Arizona to get something done here. And maybe they should be. The concern there is like Marvin Harrison Jr. is still.
Yeah, he's legit questionable.
He's like in the non-contact jersey. He's still fully protocoled up. I don't know if he's playing.
All right, I think let's skip that one.
That game stinks. I don't want.
No, you're right. You're right. That's a skip. So that's why I had you on. I knew you just saved me from Kyler Murray costing me more money this year. I guess if we think that's going to be gross, James Conner higher rushing attempts. If we think it can stay close for 3 quarters, if it's going to stay close for 3 quarters, Conner's going to hit 14 rushing attempt higher.
Yeah, what's the split been down there? It feels like it's been pretty heavy.
I mean, Benson has not been playing at all until
that's what
Conner.
I'm saying. It's just been a lot of Conner. So
yeah, DeMercado gets like third downs, like long down and distance stuff, but never. I wonder if DeMercado even has 5 rushes this year. I bet he doesn't.
I'd kind of forgotten he existed. I haven't watched full Cardinals games.
He does have 12 rushes on the year. Yeah, no one other than true fantasy football nerds should know about him. I'm gonna toss that one in. I'm gonna toss James Conner in. That brings us to all right. We have 7. We have 7 right there. I will open the floor to you. What's one of your favorite angles this week, just in general?
Oh man. I really like the Atlanta offense. Seattle's still like, that's not a hot take, Andy. The Atlanta offense. I just worry though those numbers are going to be kind of already inflated because what they've done the last couple of weeks. They consolidated.
They're not as inflated as you would think. Just because I think because of the general offensive environment. Like Kirk Cousins, 267.5. Drake London, 75.5 receiving yards. Kyle Pitts, 39. That's like baseline kind of what they're been at, and this is a way better game. Like this is a way better state, a way better spot for overs.
Yeah, I just like who's getting the yards. Who do you think gets the targets against Seattle? I'm trying to think back to like the San Francisco game, what their what the game plan was, what worked the best, because that's the annoying part about liking Atlanta is it's like, wow, is it going to be a Pitts game again? We saw that a couple weeks back, and obviously
it's definitely
not a Pitts game.
I would say London is probably London would be the one. London and Mooney. I mean, what is Mooney for a touchdown? So you're getting like plus 170-ish here for Mooney to get a touchdown if you use the implied vig or whatever. But I don't hate that. 52 yards I don't love as much. Let's do that. All right, there we go. I do. Do you do the flex on these? Do you like when? I mean, this is an 8-legger, so you get it automatically. But what's your theory on that in general?
So a lot of times I'll do the same entry twice, and I'll split my stake up where it's like I call it a 3/4 flex, because then let's say you're putting $50 in an entry, put 25 in the flex, 25 in the full Megillah, because then if you hit the flex, you feel a little better about like hitting everything. And then if you miss one, you don't feel as bad about missing one. It kind of takes the sting out of going 5 for 6, 7 for 8.
Andy, that is legitimately genius.
It's like hedging against both bad feelings.
No, that is wow. I think I'm gonna start doing that. I think I'm gonna start splitting them up, doing because they have the little button where you can just click
Yeah, you just
reuse.
reuse these entries.
Yeah. Okay.
Big,
Sick. All right.
big
Well,
reuse these entries. This I learned this years and years and years ago, like pre prop swap or cash out buttons or anything. When people would do that with futures, like if you wanted to sell a future or get off one or hedge out, it's nice to keep one ticket. Like at least you can ride that out to the end. So I like the especially when you don't get the automatic flex when you're up in the 8 legs like you're doing. I do love to see that big ass payout. You got to play the full ass press.
well, we're about to do a huge payout one. So this is the first one. This is just your bog standard unabated plays. Let me make sure that I get this link to put in the chat. All right. This is the first one. We did Devin Singletary lower. So Devin Singletary and Rachaad White not to score. Trevor Lawrence lower passing yards. Aaron Rodgers lower passing yards. Jordan Love higher 248 passing yards. James Conner higher 14 rushing attempts. Tyler Huntley higher 185.5. And Darnell Mooney to score a touchdown. That was a little bit of Andy secret sauce, a little bit of Cardi, an unabated secret sauce. The link to that is in the chat. Well, because I'm not grinding out like micro edges on these. I mostly do 8-leggers. Do you do a lot of 3? Do you do a lot of 5? What's like your?
I mean, I'll do a 2-legger if it's just like I have 2 really strong plays on, and it's usually running back stuff where it's like, hey, this guy is in line for a massive week. I think I played a bunch of different stuff a few weeks back. This was like week 2, where it was like the James Cook game against, I think maybe Indy. No, it was the Green Bay game against Indy where Willis came in. I'm like, well, the running back totals are pretty low in this game. Feel like they may run the ball, and he had his total after like 6 carries or whatever it was. And I just threw in James Cook. I played that a bunch over and over. And I like that sort of stuff when it's just like, this is easy. Like these ones are easy, because then if you get too cute with like, maybe I add a leg, I feel like I always lose those.
Okay,
Whereas, I do love, the 8-leg Sunday kind of.
That's the thing.
The lotto ones for Sunday are fun too, but
yes.
I got to pay for them with the
red zone, the red zone special.
Yeah.
So let me tell you what I do on the 2 legs. Maybe you'll think this is good. Maybe you'll think this is stupid. I like to do the 2 legs with like, if I have a read on like Hunter Lupke's going to score a touchdown, and it's like, you get like the 10.5x multiplier instead of being like, oh my God, I hit the Hunter Lupke touchdown, but now if CeeDee Lamb doesn't catch a pass, I don't get to cash that out. So I'll do it like with whatever my gold star play of the week is, Tony Pollard to score a touchdown, whatever. So that is a lot of times how I do the 2-legger, which I like. And that's a fun Sunday sweat too.
And like you say, you have the different multipliers. So like if I have 2 running back plays like that, I'll play them both at just the 0.9 or whatever, and put a chunk on that, and then you take them both up to the next level, and then you do just like a double, call it a double ladder. Then you do both running backs at 89.5 yards, both running backs at 109.5 yards. And then if they both really bust their projections and you hit a bunch of these legs.
Laddering.
I do love this lotto stuff on a Sunday though.
The laddering, I think I've been noodling a lot with this. And I'm sure that smarter people than me they worked this out 15 years ago. But a lot of the times what I think is football in particular is a weird sport for median projections. You know what I mean? Arriving at 75 yards for being Drake London's line is like kind of fraught, because a lot of the time he's either getting 38 yards or he's getting 112 yards. So like a lot of the time, if it's a high conviction spot for me, like Deebo Samuel this week, instead of taking whatever Deebo's median is, like I'm not on my phone, so I can't pull up the alts, but 56.5 receiving yards for Deebo. So instead of doing that, I much prefer, I guess his ladder would be to 79.5 or 76.5. I would greatly prefer doing that. That's especially if it's going to be like a 3-legger. Like I like doing that stuff.
Yeah, yardage in football, like you said, it's not like soccer goals or hockey goals where, it's a rare event that happens 0 to 8 times a game. If it's hockey, it can happen in huge chunks. Like suddenly, a 99 in one play is possible.
Correct.
Whereas, the medians, what do you want to call it? The edges, the long tails on those are
the long tails. Yes.
Long tails, especially to the over, because you can only go to 0, which isn't true now that I'm saying it out loud. You can have negative yardage, which is always funny in fantasy, but the long tails to the overs, especially when you look at some of these, like the edges you're looking at with some of the game states. Like, what if this guy just keeps getting carries because of the game state?
Because of the game state. Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing is sometimes there are secret game state, like they do a good job legislating for correlation, but sometimes there are secret game state ones. Like for example, let's go Debo touchdown and like Xavier Worthy. Oh damn, he doesn't have a rushing prop. Let's go 36.5 receiving yards. So that's actually a secret correlation because obviously the 49ers scoring points makes it more likely that the Chiefs would need to score points. Like there's some small stuff like that where you can get around the edges. But let's do our touchdown one. Let's do our touchdown
I like that
now.
too. Like you said, the Chiefs are very conservative if they're leading, and they can play a lot of, just giving it to whatever running backs they have left. But if the Niners continue to push them, they're going to have to bust out the good plays. And that's the fun stuff to Worthy. I don't know what else it is. I don't know what they're going to do. They always figure out
I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know what they're going to do either. It's I'm really trying not to think about it. Really trying not to focus on it. Okay. I'm going to do Debo. Debo is that's my gold star play of the week. So I'm going to take his anytime touchdown. Andy, the board is yours. You can have anyone you want to record rushing or receiving touchdown.
Oh, wow. What's the other highest total is Washington as far as team totals, I suppose. So, oh man.
And sometimes there's some like sneaky stuff in there. Like for example, McLaurin.
Like the price on some of these
So like McLaurin for a number one wide receiver in the highest total game, highest team total, that seems either fair or when you include the VIG, actually, like you're getting a multiplier that I think is fair. What is Brian Robinson?
I mean, how many targets did he have last week?
8 targets last week. Brian Robinson, I don't love that one. What about Jaden Daniels to just score a rushing touchdown?
Well, I was thinking like quarterback. You get quarterback props. He's obviously been running, especially when your running back has been a little banged up. And I know he's better now, and they have Eckler as well, but I don't see why they wouldn't give it to him in some short yardage.
Yeah. No, this has been actually I had another 6 of 8 last week where Jaden Daniels rushing touchdown didn't hurt, but they do that read option stuff near the goal line, like it's Carolina, Yeah,
okay. He's gonna have like 6 to 8 carries. It's just, are we gonna get some goal line carries? Is he gonna?
Yeah, it's just a matter.
You never know. You could have like one of the Burrow touchdowns. Suddenly there's nobody on that side of the field for some reason.
All right, the Minnesota Vikings, near and dear to your heart. I actually don't know if they're that near and dear to your heart.
They used to be. I mean, they're dead to me now. I suppose I should jump on the bandwagon. We'll see how it goes. See how it goes.
Yeah, Sunday. You should jump on the bandwagon. All right, you have to pick a Minnesota Viking or Detroit Lion to record an anytime touchdown. If this is convincing to you, Justin Jefferson is even money to record a touchdown in the second highest total game of the slate.
Man, and they're banged up. Carlson Davis probably plays. Brian Branch probably plays, but those guys are beat up, and it's been a secondary that I think has been sneaky bad, but Aiden Hutchinson's hidden some of that because he gets to play a backup right tackle every single week and gets a million pressures. They don't have that, nor a backup right tackle to go against. It feels like, what's Addison's price? I don't think Hutchinson plays. Aaron Jones, I think
that is a very good angle. Yeah, that's really good. Yeah, that's really good.
He seems to get just as many targets, and he's running some of those deep to middle routes when they're not quite in the red zone. That seems where he gets his touchdowns.
Yeah. No, that is that was a good shout. That was a very good shout. They give him like some rushing stuff too. He scored a rushing touchdown in week 2. 1 point.
That's true.
Yeah. All right. I mean, I do take
Do you
David
like any
Montgomery.
Lions? Yeah, I was going to say they're going to score.
Of course they're going to score. The issue is that Montgomery's number is offensive. I can't justify point. Montgomery is a good one to do. Montgomery is a good one to do if you get your boost. So like, they're doing this Boostober thing, and you'll get some people have a $5 max, some people have a $10 max. Matt is asking me why I blocked him on Twitter. Buddy, I blocked about 900 people on Twitter last night. I was so annoyed at everyone. I apologize. You can if you send.
What was getting you? What was eating you?
Oh, I had a viral tweet. So Estime got the first carry of the game, and I said I made a Lord of the Rings pun. I said the age of Javonte is over. The era of Estime begins. And so I just blocked everyone who, I mean, just in general, I don't know your philosophy. I spend so much time on Twitter, Andy. I can't be annoyed on Twitter. So if you slightly annoy me on Twitter, I block you or mute you.
I'm a big mute guy because then they can just yell into the ether. But I have blocked quite a few people too. It's like, if it's just like, hey, you're toxic and mean for no reason. If you go look at their profile and their last like 8 replies are just horrible things, like, yeah, you're getting a block.
Yeah. I just it's too tilting. I just spend too much time on the app. It's just like I can't have the app be annoying to me. All right, not using the David Montgomery one. That's the thing is I just like literally anyone could score for the Lions. I mean,
Gibbs got just as many touches as him last week. And Gibbs didn't score. Like it could go the other way this week.
I could do Gibbs. The other thing is you get the vulture protection with Gibbs. So if it's 7 out of 8 and he doesn't score, but he gets vulture, if Brock Wright or who's the fullback, Jason Cabina score a rushing touchdown, we'll do Gibbs. Let's toss Gibbs in there. We just want to have some action on that game.
An offensive lineman is put in at fullback and given the ball.
Yes, correct. You'll get a refund for that, so that's fine. Packers for me, I mean, it's definitely Jaden Reed, and we're even getting a multiplier there. I don't even think that one's close. Jaden Reed, similar level of loving him this week as I do with Debo.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I think they're going to score 30 damn points anyway. Like you're going to get there in volume. Somebody's going to find him, and it's probably going to be Jordan Love because that makes the most sense.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do Dalton Schultz 2.09x on this one, but I do like that. I think that's a little underpriced.
I like this comment. If you're scared of Jason Cabinda, you're playing the wrong game.
Well, I mean, hey. Jason, I'm actually the reverse. I actually kind of want Jason Cabinda to score a 1-yard rushing touchdown in this game if it means that I'm going to get refunded on this entry. Jaden Reed, anytime touchdown added. This one is going to be spicy. This one is going to be really good. Did we pick an Atlanta? We didn't pick an Atlanta.
We haven't gone to the Atlanta game yet. The Atlanta game it's kind of, I'm in the same boat. Like who's getting the ball, who's going to be, we've had Bijan has been banged up for some reason, suddenly like finding the injury reports, but then he's fine.
Yeah.
So
Hamstring and shoulder.
It's not great, especially when they give Algier the ball a bunch, especially in a game. If they are winning, could have a similar game state where it's just,
I think I'll let you pick London 1.1x or Metcalf 1.21x.
Oh man. Yeah, let's go Metcalf. That's a big price for
it is a big. It feels like
0.9.
Well, it's crazy. So the Seattle prices are all a little bad because Geno has only thrown 1 passing touchdown this year, but he leads the NFL by over 20 yards in passing yards per game. Yeah, I mean, I think he's had 3 touchdowns called back already.
He's going to get his touchdowns. And if you want to give any, juice to the Seattle Seahawks, they are coming off a Thursday game.
True.
They
Mini
have some
buy.
They have some, the mini buy. Defense stinks. They're going to be throwing. Like, I really project them to lose that game and be behind in big chunks of the game. They're going to be throwing and throwing. It's not like Metcalf's coming out.
Yeah. No, he's I mean, this game will have the most passing attempts of any game this season, I think, or of the week of the slate.
That was a live bet I made a few weeks back when Geno got down. Was Geno's live attempts was like 39, and I remember he got to like 58 or something silly. It was just, they're just gonna throw in every single down. So yeah, I think Metcalf he could have 10 touchdowns this year. Wouldn't surprise me.
For sure. All right. I mean, if I was going to take someone from Philly, it obviously would be Saquon Barkley. Like, I know it's 0.83x, but man, isn't Saquon just scoring a touchdown against the Giants?
If there was ever like we had this last night with Sean Payton wants to put up a good score against his own team and he's going to bust out the good plays. And, sometimes we have that with rivalries, but if there was ever a spot like that, it was kind of like Aaron Jones in the Green Bay game. They gave him a bunch of carries that maybe weren't even the best plays at that point in the game when they played Green Bay down by the goal line. They gave
it to him 4 times in a row, including 4th and goal, and he couldn't get it.
This is Saquon. Saquon's been good when it's looked good. It's looked real good.
Yeah, it's not the greatest price, but we have a bunch of other, like this one is already going to be okay. Yeah, so we need one more. They'll in Pick 'em Champions you can only win up to $3,000.
Well, let's put another one in.
Yeah, so we got to go one more.
Oh, what's a game? Baltimore, Tampa? Or do you not want to wait till Monday?
No. We can wait. That's a great sweat. I actually kind of
like having 7 going into Monday.
Yes, exactly. I love that. So Lamar 1.18x. Like, I mean, the Henry thing is like, it is what it is. Godwin's
price with Evans is kind of nursing something
up
right now, and I wonder if if his snap count drops by like 20% and Godwin sees a bump. They're scoring. This has kind of been a secondary you can pick on sometimes.
They're an extreme pass funnel. They want you to pass against them. And I predict, bold prediction, Bucky Irving, Rashad White, and Sean Tucker all rotating snaps and none of them getting in gear, like none of them getting in rhythm. I predict it is going to disrupt their rushing game a good degree.
You remember like 10 years ago when people first started to get annoyed with Belichick's running back stuff in fantasy, in season long? It's funny how there's like 15 teams like that now.
It's every
week. And sometimes a team will get a bell cow for like 3 weeks and then they'll just go back to it. It's rotational. It's super fun.
All right.
There's no Tampa Bay running backs they can roster.
Firing this one. Wow. If I do $11, I get 98 cents less. Oh, I can't put more than $9 on this one. What? Well, let me try. No, not going to do it. All right. $9 on this one. There we go. We are locked in. So this is the touchdown grouping. The touchdown grouping we're one away. I mean, that's crazy. One away. DJ Moore. No thanks, brother.
What did that one pay out?
It would have been the same. I do the max on the touchdown one. I do the max to get to $3,000. All right. Deebo Samuel touchdown. Jaden Daniels touchdown. Jordan Addison touchdown. Jahmyr Gibbs touchdown. Jaden Reed touchdown. Metcalf, Barkley, and Godwin. If you want to play that one a little bit safer, you want to have a more fun Monday Night Sweat, do Derrick Henry. Definitely do Derrick Henry instead of Chris Godwin.
Yeah, if you're putting $10 on something like this, maybe you do 5 on this and 5 on the one with Derrick Henry.
Yes. I think the 8-leggers, that is the way to do it. I mean, that's the way I do it. And then if I did the $50 3-legger one last week, because I was like, that one's going to hit. Those are the gold star plays. All right,
do you ever do the long shot touchdown ones where you pick some guys that, that just based on like big touchdown prices, but they're guys that get the ball, like I don't want to say like Ricard or, like fullback, but backup wide receiver touchdown kind of stuff. You just pick 3 guys that you think are going to be bigger usage this week based on injuries. Like look at some Colts backup wide receivers with everybody, Pittman and Pierce are hurt now. Downs hasn't been 100%. I don't even know who's going to be listed for like that. But, you go look at some of these guys that are, hey, guess what, buddy, next guy up, and it's you. You're the next Bub Means, and your prices can be kind of big for 1 week because nobody knows who you are.
I'll tell you, I do. And the reason why I do it is a lot of the times when there are guys who are questionable, the only thing that they offer is touchdowns. So like Deontay Johnson is questionable. So they're not offering they're not offering league at yards, they're not offering league at anything, but they are offering him to score a rushing or receiving touchdown. And I've had this leg in 4 times and it's hit twice. I'm big on league at. What would another situation be like that? Schultz for Houston.
Yeah, your backup tight end there. Calcaterra.
Oh my God, this is my favorite play of the week.
God, he's out there.
Okay. Red alert. Win Underdog post Calcaterra, guys. Smash the Grant Calcaterra anytime touchdown on Underdog. That is a commandment. Maybe Jalen Coker has a crazy price. Oh, he's not available.
I was looking at Indy too. Like, who's getting the snaps behind Trey Sermon? Is it Hall or Goodson?
Goodson.
So Goodson. If
no Goodson,
probably not.
No
like
Hole.
Ashton Doolin. Who's your backup wide receivers?
11.42. What do we have for him and what do we have for Mitchell?
Yeah,
Mitchell, I think we can do.
Mitchell's a little more reasonable to happen.
Mitchell only plays about 10 snaps a game, but he also gets I believe right now he currently leads the NFL in targets per route run. He is only out there to get the ball.
There's been like 5 long bombs that he had separation on and just hasn't happened for him. Like he's getting touchdowns and it's going to be a long touchdown. That sucks. You don't have yards too.
They will. They just actually, the ones that I really like to do is Sunday morning when I'm looking. I like the fantasy points. Fantasy points is like it's the greatest catch-all because it's like, I don't know if my guy got there because he got 9 catches. I don't know if he ripped off a long one. I don't know if he scored twice, but it's just like when it's a spot, it's like, I think this is a good spot. I think my guy's mispriced, but it's like, well, your guy could be mispriced, but maybe he scores a long touchdown so he doesn't get 6 receptions or whatever you specifically need. This would be a good spot to do a 2-legger. We could do a 2-legger on Xavier Legette and AD Mitchell.
Yeah, that's going to be a price already.
All right.
6 times 2.5. Like it should be like 20 to 1, isn't it?
Better. 20. Bang. All right, there we go. Legette.
I'm playing that one for sure.
Yeah, Legette and AD Mitchell. The link to that is in the chat. And actually, I can just put the links to these in the YouTube description as well. There's no reason not. All right. Yeah. I will do my gold star, and we can see if you have a gold star favorite plot play. This is my number 1 unquestioned play of the week. Patrick Mahomes, higher 4.5 rushing attempts. This is like universal with him when it's a big game, when his wide receivers are banged up, when they're on the road. He just is so much like his rushing attempts in the playoffs last year were 6, 6, and 9. 9 was in the Super Bowl against the San Francisco 49ers. I don't like that this is the Chiefs offense. I'm a Chiefs fan. I don't love that this is what they have become, but he will be topping 4.5 rushing attempts this week. That is my gold star number 1. I'm going to put $50 on this one. Do you have a gold star?
I hadn't thought about this. Like
I didn't give you a homework.
What does the Geno stuff look like? Just because I think it's going to turn into another one where they might lose by multiple scores, but he's going to have.
And I knew this would be the case. I knew Cardi. They couldn't juice it up high enough. I completely agree with this one. I think Geno stuff is weight. I mean, this is 30 yards less than he's averaging per game, and they're on the road in a dome.
What does he got? Does he got completions higher and lower? What's attempts? Attempts is 36.
Attempts is 36. Completions is 24. Oh, this is just the way the unabated tool works. It like runs a sim. So every once in a while there'll be a number that's off. Like the projection will be higher than the line, but it'll show as negative value because of the way the sim is distributed. But yeah, I'm good with any of these Geno ones. I'm good with Geno rushing yards. I'm good with passing yards. I'm good with any of them really.
Yeah, we could just attempts 36. He's gone 56, 40, 52 the last 3 weeks. So the way for him to go under the attempts is they're beating the shit out of a Miami team with nobody on it, and it's a bad game, or they're in the Denver game to start the season. Otherwise, even in the New England game, he had 44 attempts. Like
that is great. Yeah,
Grubb is fine throwing the ball over and over. He should sniff 40.
Yeah, no, I think you are 100% correct about that one. Now, normally every week for me, there's one man who has literally never failed me. I have never, well, maybe sometime in the past, but this season I have never lost a proposition wager on Justin Jefferson. He has never gone under his receiving yards against me. He's the best there is. But if we need to look elsewhere, we can look elsewhere.
No, like I said, I don't think the secondary for Detroit's very good, and Sam Darnold's not going to be seeing ghosts. The people behind Aiden Hutchinson, it's not super deep.
No,
he
really
was
not.
Really a one-man wrecking crew. They have some good interior offensive line or defensive linemen, but the rest of their edge players, it's not great. So it's good tackles as well. Like as long as they're bringing somebody up to block any interior pressure, Darnold's going to have all day, I think. And yeah, Jefferson feels like 120 and a touchdown, right?
It really does just feel like 120 and a touchdown. All right, there we go. These are the Gold Star locks. I'm going to put 50 on that one. Not even going to flex it because I don't even need to because we are locked. We are locked in. Patrick Mahomes higher 4.5 rushing attempts. Geno Smith higher 36 passing attempts. Justin Jefferson higher 93.5 receiving yards. That Mahomes one, I mean, that is one to add onto your regular prop betting menu or toss into your stuff this week. It's very, very straightforward.
He's going to have 3 on the last drive.
Now, that can be that sometimes is scored differently. That I've seen that go both ways. Is there an official rule on that? I've always wondered because sometimes they don't treat the kneel down as a rush, and then sometimes when the guy like backs up, you know what I'm saying? When they back up, yeah. I mean, maybe I'm not
treated as a rush because it's snapped in an offensive, the offensive play, and the quarterback is not sacked. He's not throwing.
Maybe I'm full of shit. I might be full of shit.
I know that there's a weird. Anyone who does like prop betting knows that college is completely jacked up in that fashion where like sacks, you've seen college props on quarterbacks. Their rushing totals set at like negative 28 yards or something.
Yes.
Because it's like, well, this guy's getting sacked 6 times today.
All right, let's go
to this unabated. Show me how you got to this tool. I feel like an asshole, but I have an unabated membership. Never been to this tool. I use the NFL Sims. I use the odd screen. I haven't seen this. Like I want to.
The odd screen is pretty nice. Okay, this is how you go. You go NFL, DFS Pick Em. You select your site. You can do whichever one. We are an unabated fantasy channel here. Now this is where it gets interesting. You can choose your projection source. So I use Cardi and I use 100%. You can use the market-based projection. You can use, these are just free projections that they have uploaded in.
You can weight those. You can use all 5 if you wanted.
Yeah. So here, I'll show you what it looks like when we do. I'll do 50-50 market-based, which is like, it just pulls from like sports books, like it just pulls from DraftKings, FanDuel, BetRivers, whatever. So I'll show you what it looks like when we do the 50-50. There's a lot less edge to be had
Yeah, I suppose
when which is why I run it like that. And it didn't even do it right because it just has the same numbers loaded in. So I need to refresh. But yeah, you just go that menu. But the other thing is you can upload your own projections, or you can upload the establish the run projections, or you can upload the Roto Grinders projections, or whoever you want, which is pretty nice.
I have memberships to so many different sites, and like it's like how you use 10% of your brain. I use like 10% of every site. Like, and then somebody's like, "Oh, I got it from here." Oh, fucking where? Which menu, buddy?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna have to play with this.
It's a very easy to use tool, and it basically gives you exactly what it says. And I mean, you probably don't struggle with this. I struggle with this of calculating the edge, of being like, well, what happens when you go from 3 legs to 5 legs? What happens when you go from, because like I know that people have told me that 3, 5, and 6 are the ones with the greatest mathematical edge based on the implied vig on the forced parlay, but I don't really know what that means. Like I'm not conceptually, I don't understand the math well enough.
Well, the payouts are almost a little arbitrary between some of these sites where, people quickly back checked Prize Picks and and Underdog here, where it's like, oh yeah, we should be always doing a 5 leg or whatever, because once you add another leg, it doesn't give you the full payout on that.
Correct.
But
yes.
At the same time, if you think you have edges on your individual legs, that more than makes up for the small, the small differences in the actual what you should be getting paid out.
100%. No doubt about it. And the math also changes. Like if you do a correlated one, so like here, we'll do Mahomes higher passing yards and Worthy higher receiving yards and Debo higher receiving yards. It gives you a lower multiplier. We are only 4.74x instead of 6x on a 3-legger. So it knows, man. It knows.
Skynet, man.
Sometimes you can catch, well, not catch them, but sometimes in your brain, your matrix brain, that there's a correlation, but they don't offer you one, or they don't price it that way. Same thing with same game parlays on sports books, is sometimes you can catch them not calculating something correctly, which is why, I mean, obviously I enjoy pick-em entries, I enjoy prop betting and stuff, but but I'm under no illusion that 19 leg same game parlays are the most profitable way to spend my money on a sports book or on a pick'em site.
No, and you could go be the guy who grinds out 5,000 NBA prop bets, and like 4,800 of them are unders over the course of the next 9 months.
Buddy,
it pays, but at that point, half your time is spent finding new books to bet at and just filling out spreadsheets. So this is a little more fun. Not going to be fun if you do a standalone for Sunday night. I don't know what the Jets Steelers is going to look
there
like.
we go. Okay, we got to
give one. Pull up one thing before we go to Jets Steelers. Pull up Bauer's numbers.
Oh, free.
Jacoby didn't practice again.
Oh shit. Well, they just took him off. They know.
I don't know who else is going to get the ball. Like what's the DJ Turner, Trey Tucker?
What do we got? They're gonna have us blocked almost for sure.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna be a terrible game.
That is, could be some Kyron action there. You never know. Like you could do Kyron. Here's one. You could do Kyron alt overs. You could do Kyron alt over, or Quorum alt overs. What do they have for? Maybe there's something for Quorum. Oh, yeah, Quorum. No, nothing. That would be a good one. If you think that game is going to be a blowout,
just like garbage backup running back yardage.
Well, I mean, they offer it now. They normally don't offer it until you get a little bit closer to game time. Like they were offering estimate and stuff for Thursday night, but they don't normally offer it until you get to the game. I have to refresh my Underdog page because I just got locked out because my computer is old and slow. You got any buying computer advice for me? I'm in the market.
You know what? I buy like refurbished desktops, and then I bring them to my computer guy and be like, fix what needs to be fixed on this. Like, get me a new video card because I bought this for like $112 off Amazon. One time I bought one of these a desktop computer from a third party through Amazon, and it straight up just didn't work. And I messaged them. They're like, keep it. We'll send you another one. Like, it was just one little thing wrong with it. I went and got it fixed for like $40. They just sent me a whole other computer. I don't know if that's the way you want to go. Are you an Apple guy?
Yeah, I am an Apple guy, and I want to
just spend the money. Then
you kind of just have to spend the money. The thing I actually need is if anyone has a sick display, like just the thing to plug the computer into, like a good deal on a monitor or whatever. That's what I need.
You know what I use? I just have a 42-inch TV.
I was gonna say you just have a TV.
I just have like a TV I found in the spare room. I'm taking this to work. I want a bigger monitor.
It's a good call.
Honestly, all right, if you have the room. Sunday night.
Yeah, we got to find. Well, and you know what I just realized is the available menu items are going to be terrible because
the quarterback stuff.
We don't know who's starting at quarterback. Although maybe they'll just have stuff posted anyway. We'll see. We did already take the Rodgers lower. I don't care about that. The opening Devontae lines on Underdog. 48.5 yards feels low. It just feels like Rodgers does not. I don't know, man. Don't you feel like he just wants to make such a point here? What's your?
He doesn't have receptions up. They won't put reception ups for him right now.
No receptions. They do have receptions for Wilson, but not for Pickens or not for Adams.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to get fed, right? This is what he wanted.
He's got to.
I feel like they're going to yell at Rodgers at halftime if he has like one target. Like, what more do you want? We gave him to throw him the ball.
Oh God, this is a brutal football game. This might not be worth it. There literally might not be enough here.
This is you take both kickers over 1.5 field goals plus the Devontae.
All right, we're out on that. We're doing Monday night. I'm calling an audible. We're giving people something for. We can do both. Anyone you want. Double sweats for Monday night.
Who's my Arizona leg? If it is Marvin, like who were they throwing to last week? Boy, did I check out of that game in a hurry. I had bets in Green Bay as well. It was just like I can't watch this game.
I guess what do we got for like Greg Dortch and Michael Wilson? McBride only has touchdowns. Wilson only has touchdowns.
McBride had 8 targets last week. DeMarcado had 8 targets, 4 carries, 7 targets, 4 carries. That's a stat line. That's not
what you want. It's really not what you want. I like McConkey higher receiving yards, and I like J.K. Dobbins longer than 16.5 for his longest rush.
Yeah, I can get down with either of those. I don't know who you'd put in on an Arizona leg. That feels like a maybe don't.
The only thing I would do would be Kyler rushing yards, I think. That's the only one that seems appealing to me.
Yeah, he had 7 carries. It's just that's a good front 7 as far as stopping the run.
He just needs one. He just needs to get around the edge on one.
Yeah. What was his total?
33.5. 13.5 longest rush. Maybe that's better. Maybe
that's 13.5. Better.
That's better. I do like the longest rush and longest receptions, I feel are generally like feels like those are a little bit less scientific from both sides. You know what I mean? Less scientific for the book to price, less scientific for the better to price as well.
Yeah, it's the same thing you were saying with the medians. Like it's hard, and Kyler probably doesn't get to 30 yards on 14 carries, averaging 2.5 or whatever.
Right.
He's gonna have to break a 20-yarder at some point.
Correct. Okay. Yes, this is true. The 3, 5, 6-leggers are best because they're juiced without multipliers to -122, and then the 2 and 4 legs are -144. So you have to take that into account. Someone always has to explain it to me. Maybe one of these days I'll remember.
Get a stick.
Baltimore and Tampa Bay. I'll tell you what, I do like Mr. Jackson to record a rushing touchdown in this game, or I like his longest rush too. Both of those I could be talked into.
Yeah, Tampa Bay's defense is getting healthier, but it's still not fully healthy. And we've seen this week in and week out. Like, teams are really struggling with what they're doing. We thought that was going to be a bad offensive line, but they've kind of just been like, well, what if we put a run scheme in where it doesn't matter as much.
And they put Lamar under center a lot, which like it just kind of confuses I don't understand exactly how it works, but it basically, I follow a couple Ravens fans who've put out some good stuff about what putting Lamar under center does to the opposing. I think it keeps them from overcommitting when you put him under center, if I understand it correctly. But again, I don't know ball, so
and they're starting to get something from the receiving core, a little more than we'd seen at the beginning of the season, and it's making people have to keep people out of the box. You can't like you said, you can't overcommit to Lamar at this point. Yeah, I like that. What's his touchdown price?
1.18x.
He could catch one even.
He could catch him. I do always love that they include the receiving for the quarterbacks.
We'll come back to this, Davis. If he catches a batted pass at the 3 and just scrambles.
Philly special, you never know.
Who was that?
All right.
Tennessee quarterback. Mariota did that. Remember, he was like running and throwing, and it came rocketed right back at him.
Mahomes caught a batted pass opening game in the season.
Yeah. Brad Johnson has scored a touchdown that he threw to himself. That's a throwback. He's not on the board this week.
All right. I think higher receptions for Zay Flowers. The way they use him is like an extension of the running game. I like higher 5 receptions for Mr. Flowers. Got an issue?
No, I can't differentiate between the two receivers there, but people like Bateman. People like Rashad Bateman, but I still think Flowers is the one. Flowers is the better receiver.
For sure.
He should be getting more volume.
All right, there we go. That's a 5-legger. Unless you have anything else, we could do a 6-legger if there's anything else that's screaming out for you.
This is plenty for a Monday.
Plenty for a Monday.
You're going to forget about this because you're going to be rich from the Sunday ones.
We're gonna the 8-legger and the 8-legger and the all touchdown one is gonna hit, and I'm gonna be like, oh my god, I cooked up another winner with Andy. Ladd McConkey, higher receiving yards. Dobbins, longest rush. Murray, longest rush higher. Lamar Jackson, score rushing touchdown higher. 5 receptions for Zay Flowers. Andy, that's done. We are cooked. Tell the people about BetSperts and the Deep Dive Pod, and we will get out of here and send you on your way.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at AndyMSFW. You can find the Deep Dive Pod anywhere you get your podcasts. We'll go live at every halftime of primetime games, and we record 2 podcasts about the NFL betting each week. And we're even going to do some bonus content this weekend because people are dying for NBA content. We ain't got the time. So after the halftime show on Sunday night, we're just going to take a bunch of NBA questions and rap about the NBA for as long as we can, stomach it staying on the air, because I think I might rather do that than watch the second half of a Steelers game.
I might be tuned out of that one as well. Everyone, thank you for tuning in. Make sure to check out Unabated if you like the tools that we were playing around with there. Promo code Davis. We'll let them know that you came from here, which they would like. And I will be back on Sunday morning. Please like the video. Please comment on the video. And let's build some It's Short King Summer, dude. It just feels like no one in fantasy sports ever learns anything. Does he mistime it? Or is Brock Bowers just a grown man? Brock Bowers is just a grown man. Dare I say, Rich, football might be back. In the words of Lane Johnson, this offense looks constipated. It's Short King Summer.